I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
When a star as big as Kim Taehyung starts to go in a different direction, the world doesn't just look away, it trembles. Behind the glittering lights of South Korea's entertainment industry, there's no name more global than BTS. This seven-member group isn't just idols, they're a global symbol of the Korean cultural wave, better known as Hallyu. Their accomplishments are countless. However, when one of their members, Kim Taehyung aka V, suddenly showed signs of going down a different path, the K-pop world seemed to come to a standstill. The issue that emerged was no joke. Is Taehyung really going to leave BTS? This question is now echoing across social media platforms, showing just how much love and worry the public has for this artist. This issue didn't just appear out of nowhere. The signs have been visible for a long time. A number of mysterious posts on Taehyung's personal account, a smile that's no longer as wide as usual in interviews, to his increasingly independent steps in the world of art and acting, all began to form a big puzzle. Even in his last interview with a leading fashion magazine, Taehyung only answered with an ambiguous sentence when asked about his future with BTS. "I'm in the process of getting to know myself better." That sentence may sound simple, but for ARMY, it's a deep mystery. An anonymous source from the entertainment industry revealed that there was tension in a closed meeting between Taehyung and HYBE's top brass. They said the debate was sparked by creative restrictions felt by V, especially in his solo project, which was too controlled. HYBE itself chose to remain silent.
So did Taehyung.
However, silence does not mean nothing. In fact, in a world of K-pop which is full of control, silence is often the loudest form of protest. Different from other BTS members, Taehyung is known to be very sensitive artistically. He is not just a singer. He is a photographer, actor, and visual artist. He has a distinctive style, unusual taste, and artistic vision that does not always align with the standards of the Korean idol world. Many observers compare this phase to the G-Dragon moment, when the Big Bang leader chose to go against the flow for the sake of personal expression. Is Taehyung at the same point, where the desire to be free to be a full-fledged artist begins to clash with the commercial demands of the industry? BTS is not the only K-pop group with members who have gone solo. Jungkook has had huge success with his albums. Jimin and RM have delved into the philosophical side of music. Suga has even been active as an independent producer. But why is it that when Taehyung goes it alone, this issue feels so much deeper? The answer may lie in his character. Taehyung is not an idol who is easy to predict. He doesn't talk much, but every step he takes is meaningful. He conveys messages through images, music, even silence. And that's where the public feels uneasy. Because when Taehyung is silent, the world speaks louder. Taehyung's departure, if it really happens, isn't just about one person leaving the group. It would be a major shock in K-pop history. BTS is a symbol, and V is the emotional face of that symbol. He is not only a brand ambassador for various global luxury brands, but also a representation of BTS's artistic and emotional side. If true, it would mark a major shift, not just for BTS, but for the entire Korean entertainment industry, which has historically been notoriously structured and restrictive. The situation is further complicated by the fact that all of BTS members are currently serving in the military. Group activities are on hiatus. Communication between members is limited. And for many, this hiatus is a time of self-evaluation. Many fans believe that this is a time for each member to evaluate their future, both individually and as a group. The question is, will BTS remain intact after they all return from military service? Or will they take a new direction, with a different lineup? Meanwhile, but it turns out that Taehyung's silence is not without meaning. In fact, behind the silence, a pattern is starting to appear that cannot be considered a coincidence. Several sources in the industry said that Taehyung is now consulting more often with a personal team outside of HYBE's official system. This team is not part of the agency's management, but rather people who are close to him personally, photographers, visual designers, and creative consultants from outside Korea. A step that further emphasizes his desire to stand on his own 2 feet. The question is, did HYBE know about this step? And if so, did they allow it? The same source said that HYBE had tried several times to renegotiate the direction of V's solo project. But unfortunately, the communication was said to have not gone smoothly. One of the hot spots? An independent short film project produced by Taehyung with a personal touch that was very different from the image of a K-pop idol. The project was reportedly rejected by HYBE to be promoted through their official channels because it was considered not in line with the group's branding. This is where the fundamental conflict arises. BTS was formed as a symbol of synergy, team strength, and collective values. But Taehyung, especially post-pandemic, has begun to stand out in a very individual direction. A darker visual aesthetic, a more experimental musical approach, and the decision to attend international events alone without mentioning the BTS label in his name. Some fans have even observed that in several global fashion brand events he has attended, Taehyung no longer uses V of BTS in his media ID, but simply Kim Taehyung. A small detail, but very meaningful. HYBE itself is now in a very difficult position. Letting go of Taehyung is the same as losing one of the main axes in BTS's visual and emotional strength. But forcing him to remain in the old system could actually create a new image crisis, that they are not giving their own artists room to express themselves. Not only fans, the public and the media are starting to question HYBE's system. Many public opinions state that if an agency as big as HYBE cannot accommodate the personal growth of an artist as big as Taehyung, then this industry system really needs to be evaluated completely. One of the moments that is currently in the spotlight is Taehyung's decision not to attend the limited reunion of BTS members that was held before his military service was complete. Although the reason was not officially announced, there is much speculation that this absence is not about the schedule, but about principle. In the internal documentation video, Taehyung only appeared through a short recording, unlike the other members who attended in person. A signal that reaffirms the distance that is now starting to be felt. Taehyung is in a period of true self-discovery. He is no longer a teenager who has just debuted. He is now a mature man with a vision, idealism, and a strong desire to design his own life. However, the K-pop world is not yet fully ready to accept artists with this kind of character. The agency system is still very top-down, and fans, although loving, are still divided between those who want their idols to remain the same as before and those who are ready to support them as individuals. The latest news says that HYBE is currently formulating a new strategy to face the worst possible outcome. It is possible that a big decision will be announced after all BTS members have completed their military service. This means that we are in the calm before the storm. Or maybe the storm itself is slowly moving. Kim Taehyung now stands at a crossroads. On one side, there is a long history with BTS that made his name. On the other side, there is the calling of an artist's heart and soul who wants to be free. Whatever Taehyung chooses in the future, whether to stay with BTS or go solo, one thing will never change. ARMY will still be there, waiting, cheering, and understanding. This story is far from over. But like all major chapters in K-pop history, the world can only prepare for the new reality that is about to unfold. Because in the world of K-pop, silence is not the end. It is often the beginning of something much bigger.